All right, all right, all right. Live and live and live. All right. How do we do this today, ladies and gentlemen? Oh my God. It is day 36. Day 36. Yes, day 36 it is. All right, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us wherever you're joining us from. Rising Flames here. Day 36.
Striding strong with fierce might, clenching fist, ready to strike.
Ready to strike. That's what we're all here about. Day 36. Breaking chains. Rising flames. Yes, that's what we're here for, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? Thank you for joining us wherever you're joining us from. We are on day 36 of the Power Hours, where we get to come together and grow together. There are 4 things we want to move towards here. Thank you for joining this show again on day 36. Today is Saturday, March 1st. Happy Saturday to you. Thank you for joining us. I know your time is very precious and I value your time. That's why I wanted to share mine, which is also very important and precious, with you so that we could co-create the next hour together and grow together. That is the intention of this daily Power Hour. All right, we can now change our song and come from the... By the way, that was the first time we were listening to our new podcast anthem, which is, surprise, surprise, it is made by AI, as you could imagine. As with the name of the channel, we are AI or by. Oh no. Come on now. You're not going to be spraying us with water here, are you? Oh no. Oh no. Okay. The water sprinklers are all turning on around me. And I'm really, that is definitely not going to be good with the electricity. Okay. As it has it, we got a little bit of a surprise in the middle of production again. So that means we got to move inside. So please excuse Amoy while I do that. And I love all of you who are here. I want to see, before we get started, maybe while I'm getting these in order, can we have one of our amazing videos from our amazing teachers to put up here? I hope you're having fun. We have so many questions from you on this episode. There it is. There it is. Come on, come to me. Come to me right now. All right, here we go. We're going to watch a few minutes of one of the most profound videos on the internet, okay?
In the beginning was the Logos, the Big Bang, the primordial Om. Big Bang theory says that the physical universe spiraled out of an unimaginably hot and dense single point, called a singularity, billions of times smaller than the head of a pin. It does not say why or how. The more mysterious something is, the more we take for granted that we understand it. It was thought that eventually gravity would either slow the expansion or contract the universe in a big crunch. However, images from the Hubble Space Telescope show that the universe's expansion seems to be actually accelerating, expanding faster and faster as it grows out of the Big Bang. Somehow, there is more mass in the universe than physics predicted. To account for the missing mass, physicists now say that the universe consists of only 4% atomic matter, or what we consider normal matter. 23% of the universe is dark matter, and 73% is dark energy, what we previously thought of as empty space. It is like an invisible nervous system that runs throughout the universe, connecting all things. The ancient Vedic teachers taught Nada Brahma, the universe is vibration. The vibratory field is at the root of all true spiritual experience and scientific investigation. It is the same field of energy that saints, Buddhas, yogis, mystics, priests, shamans, and seers have observed by looking within themselves. It has been called Akasha, the primordial Om, Indra's net of jewels, the music of the spheres, and 1,000 other names throughout history. It is the common root of all religions. And the link between our inner worlds and our outer worlds. In Mahayana Buddhism in the 3rd century, they described a cosmology not unlike the most advanced physics of modern day. Indra's net of jewels is a metaphor used to describe a much older Vedic teaching, which illustrates the way the fabric of the universe is woven together. Indra, the king of the gods, gave birth to the sun and moves the winds and the waters. Imagine a spider web that extends into all dimensions. The web is made up of dewdrops, and every drop contains the reflection of all the other water drops. And in each reflected dewdrop, you will find the reflections of all the other droplets. The entire web in that reflection, and so on to infinity. Indra's web could be described as a holographic universe, where even the smallest stream of light contains the complete pattern of the whole. The Serbian-American scientist Nikola Tesla is sometimes referred to as the man who invented the 20th century. Tesla was responsible for discovering alternating current electricity and many other creations that are now part of everyday life. Because of his interest in the ancient Vedic traditions, Tesla was in a unique position to understand science through both an Eastern and Western model. Like all great scientists, Tesla looked deeply into the mysteries of the outer world but he also looked deeply within himself. Like the ancient yogis, Tesla used the term akasha to describe the etheric field that extends throughout all things. Tesla studied with Swami Vivekananda, a yogi who brought the ancient teachings of India to the West. In the Vedic teachings, akasha is space itself, the space that the other elements fill, which exists simultaneously with vibration. The two are inseparable. Akasha is yin to prana's yang. A modern concept that can help us to conceptualize akasha, or the primary substance, is the idea of fractals. It wasn't until the 1980s that advances in computers allowed us to actually visualize and reproduce mathematically the patterns in nature. The term fractal was coined in 1980 by mathematician Benoit Mandelbrot, who studied certain simple mathematical equations that, when they are repeated, produce an unending array of changing mathematical or geometrical forms within a limited framework. They are limited, but at the same time, infinite. A fractal is a rough geometric shape that can be split into parts, each of which is at least approximately a reduced size copy of the whole pattern, a property called self-similarity. Mandelbrot's fractals have been called the thumbprint of God.
Om Shrim Rim Klim Glam Gam Ganapati Varavarada Saravajanam Eva Shabaya Swa.
You are seeing artwork generated by nature itself. If you turn the Mandelbrot figure a certain way, it looks sort of like a Hindu deity or Buddha. This figure is being termed the Buddha-bro figure.
Om Shrim Rim Klim Glam Gam Ganapati Varavarada Saravajanam Eva Shabaya Swa.
If you look at some forms of ancient art and architecture, you will see that humans have long associated beauty and the sacred with fractal patterns. Infinitely complex, yet every part contains the seed to recreate the whole. Fractals have changed mathematicians' views of the universe and how it operates. With each new level of magnification, there are differences from the original. Constant change and transformation occurs as we traverse from one level of fractal detail to another. This transformation is the cosmic spiral, the embedded intelligence of the matrix of time-space.
All right, I want us to all do a recap for a moment here. Welcome, first of all, if you're here with us, happy Saturday, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. I want to make sure that you know what we are doing here. We are just together observing and watching a documentary. This is crazy, guys. I want to invite all of you to go watch this on your own if you have the time, because it's a 2 hour, an hour and a half documentary. It is literally for free available to you as a human, because it is your birthright to know what is the fabric of existence, and that information is available to us scientifically today. It has been available to humanity for thousands of years, again scientifically. Like Mayans of Mexico, like where they built all the pyramids, they had quantum physics knowledge literally down to like the 19th decimals of calculations. Okay, like I want you to understand that we're not very unique today just because we have cell phones and we think people 1,000 years ago were dumb. No, like I'm talking 3, 4,000 years back when the pyramids were built, they had levels of knowledge and science and technology. We still don't know to this day how the pyramids of Egypt were built. There is no general consensus because no matter how you look at it, we still cannot, we don't have, with the technology of today, we don't have the technology to lift off those blocks of stone. Some of them are like 80 tons, 100 tons. We don't have the technology to lift them up and take them all the way to the top, or some of them in the in between, in the center. It's just craziness. Okay, so I want you to understand the science that you're looking for as the answer to your solutions. This has nothing to do with religion. This has nothing to do with belief. This has nothing to do with what I like to think is the meaning of God or life. No, I'm talking pure science. If you want to do math, if you want to look at the wave frequencies, if you want to look at oscillations, if you want to look at the energy measurements, the science today is available to you in its modern form. All I'm saying is this documentary is showing you the science of today, kind of. This is about actually 10 years ago. A crazy Nobel Prize was given in 2022 to 3 quantum physicists for proving that the local universe is not physically real. So that's a totally different conversation, which we talked about already. But I want you to know what we are watching and the significance of this. And I want our experience of watching this together to be profound, because this is a profound learning opportunity, connecting opportunity with yourself. This has nothing to do with a God, with a creator, with the universe, with the energy, with vibrations. This has nothing to do with science. Everything you're about to watch is going to give you keys that you're going to be able to like go like, oh wow, that is so crazy. I didn't even think that was true, or maybe I thought it was true and I thought I was going crazy. But I want you to know that information has always been readily available to humanity. It's just that we are bombarded with such a noise, so much noise pollution, that it actually almost becomes impossible for us to break through the noise and understand what it is that we are paying attention to. And we need to pay attention to what is going to serve us and what is going to disempower us versus empower us. Okay, so the information we're watching together today in this documentary has nothing to do with whether I like it or not. It's just the truth. It's a fact. It's like gravity. You could defy it. That's fine. You don't need to believe in gravity for gravity to work. You don't need to know how electricity is made for you to turn on your device and watch this. Okay, you don't need to know how the data is getting transmitted invisibly into the air atmosphere for me to be transcribing and transferring this information to you right now. You don't need to know about those. All you need to know is how to turn on your device and use it. That's the thing. This, what we're watching together, is the lowdown, is the how to of the building blocks of existence, the fabric, the answers, the where you're coming from and what you are and who you are. The most foundational questions that any human is asking or likes to avoid looking for, because they would think, oh, it's somebody's opinion, or God already tells me, or Jesus Christ is the messenger, or Muhammad is the prophet. Doesn't matter. Whatever you think your story of your truth is, as long as you hold on to one version, you're a part of the 98% of the human population on Earth that the CIA calls single dimensional, which are easy to manipulate. It doesn't matter. You could keep any belief that you fight for. Nobody's here to change your belief. We're just here to watch something together, and I want to invite you to treat this no different than you would with any other movie that you watch, science fiction on TV. You don't get up and question it. You just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride, see what you're being communicated to, and decide for yourself how the message of the foundational blocks of the universe and existence and how things work is resonating with you. If it serves you, you could use it. If it doesn't serve you, don't use it. Okay, very well. So, hello Nassim and hello Thanos. All right, let's continue this. This is going to be beautiful.
Fractals are inherently chaotic, full of noise and order. When our minds recognize or define a pattern, we focus on it, as if it is a thing. We try to find the patterns we see as beautiful, but in order to hold the pattern in our minds, we must push away the rest of the fractal. To comprehend a fractal with the senses is to limit its movement. All energy in the universe is neutral, timeless, dimensionless. Our own creativity and capacity for pattern recognition is the link between the microcosm and macrocosm, the timeless world of waves, and the solid world of things. Observation is an act of creation through limitations inherent in thinking. We are creating the illusion of solidity, of things by labeling, by naming. The philosopher Kierkegaard said, "If you name me, you negate me." By giving me a name, a label, you negate all of the other things I could possibly be. You lock the particle into being a thing by pinning it down, naming it. But at the same time, you are creating it, defining it to exist. Creativity is our highest nature. With the creation of things comes time, which is what creates the illusion of solidity. Einstein was the first scientist to realize that what we think of as empty space is not nothing. It has properties. And intrinsic to the nature of space is nearly unfathomable amounts of energy. The renowned physicist Richard Feynman once said, "There is enough energy in a single cubic meter of space to boil all the oceans in the world." Advanced meditators know that in the stillness lies the greatest power. The Buddha had yet another term for the primary substance, what he termed kalpas, which are like tiny particles or wavelets that are arising and passing away trillions of times per second. Reality is, in this sense, like a series of frames in a holographic film camera, moving quickly so as to create the illusion of continuity. When consciousness becomes perfectly still, the illusion is understood, because it is consciousness itself that drives the illusion.
Okay, hold this for a second. So much was said during the past 5 minutes. It takes like a whole hour just to unpack what the hell was just happening. Are you still with me? The time illusion and the three-dimensional physical illusion of the experience was just explained in 5 minutes to you. Yes, in 5 minutes. You can always go back and watch it, but I want to just reiterate what we just watched together. Okay, let's do this.
In the ancient traditions of the East, it has been understood for thousands of years that all is vibration. Nada Brahma, the universe is sound. The word nada means sound or vibration, and Brahma is the name for God. Brahma simultaneously is the universe and is the creator. The artist and the art are inseparable. In the Upanishads,
Okay, again, so much to unpack here. He just says it in one sentence, like it's just such an easy thing for people to grasp, but it's not, because he just said that the creator and the creator, the artist and the art, are inseparable. It's like the hand and the body. They are connected to one another. They are one. They are working as one. And it is the one thing that keeps on experiencing itself. And that's why he was saying at the beginning with the fractal particles, how everything we understand today in existence is fractal, which means everything is just a shadow below from what's happening at a higher scale above. So if you will, the easiest level to just think and understand this, that anybody understands, is that inside the atoms of every cell, the electrons are moving around the nucleus, which is the protons and the neutrons, the same way that Earth and all the other celestial bodies are spinning around Earth, around Sun, being the nucleus of our solar system. And then together as a solar system with many other solar systems, we are wrapping around bigger central gravitational forces. So what I'm saying to you is this keeps on going above and above, and then you go into like celestial systems that are shaping what's called superclusters, and they still moved in the same direction. So the movement, the similarity in existence goes all the way down to the smallest particle as it goes all the way to the highest things that we could feel, see, and measure. This is science. This is not a matter of belief, okay? Let's continue watching this.
one of the oldest human records from ancient India, it is said, Brahma the creator, sitting on a lotus, opens his eyes, and a world comes into being.
Okay, let's just, of course we gotta do this. This movie's probably gonna take us a month to watch. So, the stories of things that were passed down to us were supposed to be put in a story form, so they have a beautification element so that it just seems more artistic, because art is a part of creation, okay? So don't get bogged down in the superficial meaning of stories. Doesn't matter which story from which storyteller you like to prescribe to. If you want to listen to this story of Muhammad, who's a storyteller, that story is called the Book of Quran. Or if you want to listen to the stories of Jesus, who's an amazing storyteller, in the book that was written 400 years after Jesus by his disciples of disciples of disciples, that they decided to put it in a story form of what the teachings were. The stories always have two levels of understanding, two layers of understanding. One layer of understanding is when they would tell us this story, and we used to look at it as kids, and they would be like, yeah, these are the stories around the fire, the fire pit, and they would talk about how like scary stories, and then we would get scared as kids around camping fire, right? Or when they would come and tell us this story just for us to fall asleep, because our minds would just get put to rest with mom or dad's voice as they were talking for us, okay? But that superficial meaning is never the point. The teaching behind it is always the point. So the thing is, science just strips stories from the facts and presents them to us in a factual way so that we don't have to deal with the stories. But then, even then, when you're talking to good scientists such as Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's a well spoken person, or who are the other? Jordan Peterson, amazing scientist. He's a PhD, he's a professor in psychology and then in psychotherapy, actually. And then he's an amazing storyteller. Any scientist to whom we can listen to accept their teachings, even to entertain their teachings, they must be amazing storytellers, because throughout the millions of years, humanity has learned that if there are no good stories, then this is not worth talking about. And all a story is using metaphors and a specific formula to present us as the hero on the story of the story that is going on a journey, and then to present us through a guide who has already been through what we are struggling with, who will give us their experience and show us the path so that we could experience what they experience in a short, brief time by listening and engaging into their story, so we don't have to go through the dangers that they went through. Okay, that's the entire point of stories. And stories have been told since the first conversational humans who were gathering to talk about anything, because they would go and tell each other the stories of what to avoid. When you go 20 meters that way, there is a lion. Don't go that way because I went and I almost got killed. Okay, that were the first stories that were told between humans. And then as they went and they discovered and then they came back, they would tell more stories about what it looks like 2 days from where we are. Because they would say whether it's safe or not. Those were the risk takers, they were the guides, they were the adventurers, they were the explorers. The human consciousness is an explorer here. We are here to experiment and experience, yet we have taken for granted the stories of the explorers who are gifting us with their findings as the solid truth of the bricks of life, and we have been letting go of our desire to actually look into what is beyond where we are comfortable right now. Okay, so that's why we are watching this together. This is crazy. Keep on tuning in. Let's do this.
Brahma closes his eyes, and a world goes out of being.
Oh, I completely forgot, by the way. Brahma opens its eyes. That's the story. That's why we went into this. And a complete world comes into creation. That's the story, okay? And then Brahma closes its eyes and everything disappears. Everything goes out of existence. That's literally telling you how you are the Brahma, you're the creator, you're the experiencer, and when you open your eyes, as you start seeing and giving meaning to things, you start experiencing things. And the moment you do, that's why when you want to relax, when you want to take a sigh of relief, you always just naturally close your eyes. That's why when you're resting, you close your eyes. That's why when you sleep, you close your eyes. Every animal does the same thing. It's because when you do that, as the machine is repairing itself now and healing, getting ready for the next day of adventure and experience, now the mind and the soul, the experiencer, Brahma, all that there is, gets to rest and stop creating. Now there are so many humans nowadays that cannot shut that voice down, the ego that wants to, the monkey mind, the brain that just wants to jump around like this, that, now wants to keep on making noises and throwing things around even when they go in bed, which means they are so distracted, so involved with the thoughts in their mind. Oh no, come on now, don't be spraying us here. Oh no, this is coming to a next level right now. Next level we're experiencing today of sprinklers interfering with us. Okay, let's watch the rest of this. I go fix that.
Ancient mystics, yogis, and seers have maintained that there is a field at the root level of consciousness. The Akashic field, or the Akashic records, where all information, all experience, past, present, and future, exists now and always. It is this field or matrix from which all things arise, from subatomic particles to galaxies, stars, planets, and all life. You never see anything in its totality, because it is made up of layer upon layer of vibration, and it is constantly changing, exchanging information with Akasha. A tree is drinking in the sun, the air, the rain, the earth. A world of energy moves in and out of this thing we call a tree. When the thinking mind is still, then you see reality as it is, all aspects together. The tree and the sky and the earth, the rain and the stars are not separate. Life and death, self and other, are not separate, just as the mountain and the valley are inseparable. In the Native American and other indigenous traditions, it is said that everything has spirit, which is simply another way of saying everything is connected to the one vibratory source. There is one consciousness, one field, one force that moves through all. This field is not happening around you, it is happening through you, and happening as you. You are the you in universe. You are the eyes through which creation sees itself. When you wake from a dream, you realize that everything in the dream was you. You were creating it. So-called real life is no different. Everyone, everything is you. The one consciousness looking out of every eye. Under every rock. Within every particle. International.
I just want to do a pulse check here because I see so many of you are checking out and are just like, nah, this is too much for me to handle right now. And if that's the case, that's perfect. I just know for some of you, this is going to be that perfect timing and the perfect thing for you to hear, because there is a 100% an element of truth that humans can intuitively feel when they're presented with different scenarios. So here's the thing, you as a human, you're a very, very, very powerful being. As you're hearing, you are the you in the universe. So you understand everything. You know in your heart if something is good or bad. You know in your heart if the truth or lies are being presented to you. You know in your heart if something you're doing is not right. And you know in your heart when something you should be doing, you're not doing. It's just that we question those feelings that we have in our heart, which are always the absolute truth, with our ego and thoughts that think they know better. So that's how the story goes, where we start questioning the reality of what we know with what we were told, which were primed into our thoughts, into our beliefs. Growing up, 60% by the time we are 7 years old, already shaping up our understanding, our foundational and hard structured understandings of experience of life, universe, existence, good, bad, society, what to do, what not to do, what to eat, what not to eat, where to go, where not to go, who is a good person, who is an ugly person, who is happy, who is a successful person. All of those things, 60% of them are shaped in our minds as a subconscious level, at a subconscious level, by the time we are 7 years old, guys. You don't even know what's good or not, what's bad. And then we believe all of those to be the fabric of existence, of truth, and we fight for those with others around us, with other communities, because we were raised in a culture, in a language where making fun of other people to make ourselves feel better was a thing, where putting people down and pitting us against each other was a thing to distract us from being multidimensional beings and getting stuck in the cycle of a human doing, not a human being, by being single dimensional. That's exactly what CIA says the 98% of planet Earth are. And that's what they mean when they say they're single dimensional. That's why they're so easy to manipulate. So easy. And because we just choose to be like that. Okay, let's continue this, please.
Researchers at CERN, the European Laboratory for Particle Physics, are searching for this field that extends throughout all things. But instead of looking within, they look to the outer physical world. Researchers at the CERN laboratory in Geneva, Switzerland, announced that they had found the Higgs boson, or the God particle. The Higgs boson experiments prove scientifically that an invisible energy field fills the vacuum of space. CERN's Large Hadron Collider consists of a ring 17 miles in circumference, in which two beams of particles race in opposite directions, converging and smashing together at nearly the speed of light. Scientists observe what comes out of the violent collisions. The standard model cannot account for how particles get their mass. Everything appears to be made of vibration, but there is no thing being vibrated. It is as if there has been an invisible dancer, a shadow, dancing hidden in the ballet of the universe. All the other dancers have always danced around this hidden dancer. We have observed the choreography of the dance, but until now we could not see that dancer.
Okay, hold on a second. Another interjection here is required. I want you to understand now science today. That was science, that was CERN, that was not somebody's belief in his parents' basement making this video up for you. That is the CERN, which is actually the world's biggest right now collider that humans have built, that is studying with the most brilliant scientific physics mathematicians' minds on this planet working on it. So we're not talking about beliefs here, we're talking about science. What we used to believe to be the empty space, this, which we thought this is air, we knew that, we always knew we could actually measure the density of air because it still is a matter, it has density. Yet we thought when we actually leave Earth beyond its boundaries of the atmosphere, as it starts thinning out, there becomes a point where it is total vacuum, we thought. That is the pitch darkness of the space. That's all the shots that you see outside of planet Earth. See, the concept of day and night is just a feeling that we experience because our Earth is going around itself, and half of a day it's facing Earth, facing the sun, while the other half of us are getting the rest we need at night. And then it goes around, and that's 124 hours, okay, that it spins around itself. So there is no light in space. Once you go out of Earth, you will see there's only just pitch darkness. That is why this is so important to understand. But even scientifically, that's why they figured out at CERN, that's what they figured out with science, that with the science of today's instruments that are so weak still, now we are understanding that the space that is supposed to be vacuum is still not vacuum. It's completely interconnected. That is why in the world of quantum physics, we have entanglement, which stipulates that two particles on different sides of the universe, one here, one millions of light years away. So it would take millions of light years to travel. It would take the light millions of years to travel to get from here to there, which was the fastest speed that we thought we could actually travel. Yes, in three-dimensional form, the speed of light is the fastest you will go, because after that, you will turn into energy from matter. We know that, okay? That was E equals mc squared. That's what Einstein came out with. And he was like, yo, we understand this. And that's why I said that's the fastest you could go in three-dimensional physical universe. However, the fabric, the vacuum, the Shiva, whatever you want to call it, the thousands of years ago, 7,000 years ago, the Adi yogi, the first person who did meditation and figured all these out, because within you are all these answers. None of these are new information. You see, what I'm telling you, none of these are new information. Yeah, it may sound like, I'm just hearing this for the first time, but a part of you will be like, that doesn't actually feel far from truth, because if light years away, when you turn one of them upside down in its polarity of negative and positive, the other one, light years away, turns upside down instantly. That's why they're called entangled. That means the information is moving so fast between these two that it is instantaneous, this shift. And it would take light years for the information at the fastest speed that we know of, which is the speed of light, to travel. So then that should bring the question for you, as it has been for scientists, for thousands of years, what can go faster than the speed of light? Well, what goes faster than the speed of light is darkness, which is what's everywhere. So darkness is what's everywhere, and it is where light just travels through. But darkness, the lack of light, is not vacuum, and it's not zero. It's not non-existence. It's actually the fabric of existence. Less than 3% of all of existence is three-dimensional matter that we can actually measure, such as space, Earth, sun, other planets. The rest of it, 97% of it, is just empty, and that emptiness is not empty. That's what I want you to understand. Scientifically, this is going to be an aha moment, an insight moment for those people, especially with masculine force, that they just like to play mental masturbation with people over who has the upper leg in terms of knowing reality or God, or actually not even having a conversation at the worst case scenario, and saying what I've been told for thousands of years through stories is what I believe in, and I don't even want to know what else is possible in terms of science, in terms of quantum physics, in terms of psychology, in terms of human anatomy, in terms of existence. I'm inviting you to just give yourself the opportunity to actually level up. Massive. This is called breakthrough, to quantum shift, because once you understand and once your brain sees, it can no longer unsee. Okay, let's continue seeing.
The so-called God particle, the properties of the base material of universe, the heart of all matter, which would account for the unexplained mass and energy that drives the universe's expansion. But far from explaining the nature of the universe, the discovery of the Higgs boson simply presents an even greater mystery, revealing a universe that is more mysterious than we ever imagined. Science is approaching the threshold between consciousness and matter. The eye with which we look at the primordial field and the eye with which the field looks at us are one and the same. The German writer and luminary Wolfgang von Goethe said, "The wave is the primordial phenomenon which gave rise to the world. Cymatics is the study of visible sound. The word cymatics comes from the Greek root cyma, which means wave or vibration. One of the first Western scientists to seriously study wave phenomena was Ernst Chladni, a German musician and physicist who lived in the 18th century. Chladni discovered that when he spread sand on metal plates and then vibrated the plates with a violin bow, the sand arranged itself into patterns. Different geometrical forms appeared depending on the vibration produced. Chladni recorded an entire catalog of these shapes, and they are referred to as Chladni figures. Many of these patterns can be found throughout the natural world, such as the markings of the tortoise, or the spot patterns of a leopard. Studying Chladni patterns or cymatic patterns is one secret way in which high-end guitar, violin, and other instrument makers determine the sound qualities of the instruments they make. Hans Jenny expanded on Chladni's work in the 1960s. Using various fluids and electronic amplification to generate sound frequencies, and coined the term cymatics. If you run simple sine waves through a dish of water, you can see patterns in the water. Depending on the frequency of the wave, different ripple patterns will appear. The higher the frequency, the more complex the pattern. These forms are repeatable, not random. The more you observe, the more you start to see how vibration arranges matter into complex forms from simple repeating waves. This water vibration has a pattern similar to a sunflower. Simply by changing the sound frequency, we get a different pattern. Water is a very mysterious substance. It is highly impressionable. That is, it can receive and hold on to vibration. Because of its high resonance capacity and sensitivity, and an inner readiness to resonate, the water responds instantaneously to all types of sonic waves. Vibrating water and earth make up the majority of mass in plants and animals. It is easy to observe how simple vibrations in water can create recognizable natural patterns. But as we add solids and increase the amplitude, things get even more interesting. Adding cornstarch to water, we get more complex phenomena. Perhaps the principles of life itself can be observed as vibrations move the cornstarch blob into what appears to be a moving organism. The animating principle of the universe is described in every major religion, using words that reflect the understanding of that time in history. In the language of the Incas, the largest empire in pre-Columbian America, the word for human body is Alpa Camasca, which means literally animated earth. In Kabbalah, or Jewish mysticism, they talk about the divine name of God, the name that cannot be spoken. It cannot be spoken because it is a vibration that is everywhere. It is all words, all matter. Everything is the sacred word. The tetrahedron is the simplest shape that can exist in 3 dimensions. Something must have at least 4 points to have physical reality. The triangle structure is nature's only self-stabilizing pattern. In the Old Testament, the word tetragrammaton was often used to represent a certain manifestation of God. It was used when talking about the Word of God, or the special name of God, Logos or primordial word. The ancient civilizations knew that at the root structure of the universe was the tetrahedral shape. Out of this shape, nature exhibits a fundamental drive toward equilibrium, Shiva, while it also has a fundamental drive towards change, Shakti. In the Bible, the Gospel of John usually reads, "In the beginning was the Word," but in the original text, the term used was logos. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus, who lived around 500 years before Christ, referred to the logos as something fundamentally unknowable, the origin of all repetition, pattern, and form. The Stoic philosophers who followed the teachings of Heraclitus identified the term with the divine animating principle pervading the universe. In Sufism, the Logos is everywhere and in all things. It is that out of which the unmanifest becomes manifest. In the Hindu tradition, Shiva Nataraja literally means Lord of the Dance. The whole cosmos dances to Shiva's drum. All is imbued or ensouled with the pulsation. Only as long as Shiva is dancing can the world continue to evolve and change. Otherwise, it collapses back into nothingness. While Shiva is representative of our witnessing consciousness, Shakti is the substance or stuff of the world. While Shiva lies in meditation, Shakti tries to move him, to bring him into the dance. Like yin and yang, the dancer and the dance exist as one. Logos also means unconcealed truth. He who knows the Logos knows the truth. Many layers of concealment exist in the human world, as Akash has been swirled into complex structures, concealing the source from itself. Like a divine game of hide and seek, we have been hiding for thousands of years, eventually forgetting about the game completely. We somehow forgot that there was anything to find. In Buddhism, one is taught to directly perceive the Logos, the field of change, or impermanence within oneself through meditation. When you observe your inner world, you observe subtler and subtler sensations and energies as the mind becomes more concentrated and focused. Through the direct realization of anicca, or impermanence at the root level of sensation, one becomes free of attachment to transient external forms. Once we realize there is one vibratory field that is the common root of all religions, how can we say, my religion? Or this is my primordial Om, my quantum field?
Yo, that was it, guys. Wow, what a wrap. We gotta wrap this up. That was an amazing conclusion to that chapter of the documentary. You're more than welcome, and I encourage you to go watch this on your own. Go in depth, take notes, have a popcorn, have fun with it, absorb it, and understand that you are a God in existence. You are the God in existence. Don't get cocky about it, because The entire cockiness comes from the ego, and the moment you get cocky, you've lost the game. It just means you are experiencing your own heaven or hell. It is your choice which one you want to create in your life. You want to create wealth, success, fulfillment, and you want to actually do it all while you're growing consciously. That's what we're here for every day, 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As a community, we come together to grow together, to talk together. Strategies that I bring from even other consultants that I'm inviting now to come on the show, so that it's not only me yapping. It's going to be very, very exciting times. I love you. I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining us and being with us today. And Nassim, thank you for your great comments that you were blessing us with during this episode. We usually talk about business growth, financial growth, and relationships, and success. This documentary is probably the most profound video that is free on YouTube, available to everybody. It's called Inner World, Outer World. And, I definitely want you to go watch it and support it. Give it a love, like give the original artist some love and give him a shout out. He's done this for free for humanity and compiled this wisdom that makes perfect sense with every sentence. And I just hope that you go back and rewatch this, because this episode alone was just worth the whole hour if you take nothing away from this season. Okay, thank you so much. Love you all. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Be blessed, be a blessing, and be blessed. That's how it works. You be blessed by being a blessing. And until tomorrow, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, have a beautiful day. Today was the 36th episode. Very special episode for me. I really, really love anybody who was here with us. Thank you.